Merry Christmas to everybody. First of all, this video belongs to the series of videos that I'm filming as instructor of the Nei Qi Gong Fu School to clarify a little bit what the Nei Qi Gong method practice is about. In this video, I would like to talk to you about the benefits of the practice. It actually could be many, but let's start by the basic ones. For sure, when we practice Nei Qi Gong, our health becomes stronger, our immune system becomes stronger, and usually we get sick less. It doesn't mean that it cannot happen to get a cold or something like this, but it's quite rare compared to the average, let's say, human being health. Even if something happens in terms of health, usually the recovery time is quite shorter. But personally, I could say that I don't even remember last time I got the flu. It's as simple as that. So one of the first benefits for sure is our physical aspect becomes stronger. Another one, which is actually very important, maybe not highlighted that much, is the mental and emotional peace that comes with the practice. When we start to practice Nei Qi Gong, it's a big trauma in one sense, because we see our limitations. We see that we don't know how to use the body is not flexible, the body is not responding to our commands. We see that we become irritated maybe by holding certain postures. We see our mess in our mind. And all these things might drive us crazy in the beginning, especially because we think we're doing a practice, a spiritual practice that should bring peace and quietness in the mind, and we see the opposite. However, when we stand in front of these elements popping up and we relax into it by accepting who we are, because when we do a kind of personal work like the one that we are doing here, we discover parts of ourselves which are maybe not that pleasant. But however, by accepting ourselves in our totality and relaxing into it, something greater takes place. It's like that all these pieces, fragmented elements that composed us, and before they were creating frictions, they start to be integrated, and this brings a great emotional and mental peace, integration, and of course this is going to be reflected also on our health, because we cannot divide the human being into pieces. The mental aspect influences the physical aspect and vice versa. That's why, for instance, when we start the path and we do the qigong, the first level, we work to remove the tension as beginners. If we are advanced, we have an energetic experience of what we are doing. But as beginners, we remove the tensions, and actually removing the tensions from the body influence our psychological state, not just during the practice, but also during our daily life. So this could be the two main, summarizing two main benefits. Now maybe I can share a little bit about my personal benefits. For me, and I cannot assure this to everybody, for me Nei Qi Gong was the end of my spiritual search, because experientially you might get to experience things usually written in a book, in those kind of spiritual books, which are of course misinterpreted, because we read them through the filters of our mind. So we color those ideas, which already they are ideas expressed by the writer, by the person talking about them, so they are not the real experience, the real thing. It's just an interpretation which has nothing to do with the real thing. Plus we go through our own background and filters that color our interpretation of them. For me, working with the body and actually being quite practical about this whole thing called spirituality, which has become a big circus and also made many things much more complicated than how they are in the actuality, Nei Qi Gong for me was the end of it. the end of this thirst for the next experience, the next spiritual adventure, the next investigation, progressively led me to extinguish the questions and actually relax in it, relax into the experience. So that for me was something that happened during the basic programs. Actually, at the time we had 6 basic programs instead of 9. After 10 months, this happened, which was the most shocking thing for me, because I've been seeking, I seeked since the beginning of my childhood. When I was maybe 15, I started my quest into what reality is about, what is this, what is God, all these kind of big questions that sometimes we may have when we have some kind of conflicts. Because if we are fine, we don't ask these questions, we just leave, usually. So another benefits, of course, could be a little bit, as I said before, knowing ourselves on the bad aspects, but also on the good ones, because we start to explore the energetic aspect of ourselves, which is an immense, for me, valuable thing that also is reflected on practically in life. If I could say something about myself again, I could say that I wouldn't be able to do everything that I did in the past few years, business-wise, personal-wise, artistic-wise. It would have been impossible because I was unbalanced. Let's face it, emotionally, mentally, physically, we don't even have to talk about that. I was terrible when I started. I think I still have to do a lot of work. But in general, what the practice brings in our life, it's a general improvement of ourselves. Able to stand difficult circumstances, able to function well in life. That should be the main goal. And of course, if we are some kind of spiritual guy, whatever, or girl, and we are willing to remove any kind of idea about this concept and trying to investigate ourselves, know yourself, the ancient philosophers were used to say. I think it's a great valuable tool to go in that direction and to possibly extinguish any kind of interpretation about reality and get to the thing by ourselves.